Okay. Tonica Minolta. Anyway, enough of that shit. Go on about that stuff all the time. Okay, I wonder if we're going to just leave it there for now and just wait till we set everything up and put the original on the glass. Just a little bit of contrast. Okay, set this silly junk of a machine up, silly Konica Minolta shit. I like to take the piss out of Konica Minolta. Funny name. I don't know. But anyway, enough of that. I'm just thinking maybe it's going to be 141.4. This will be an interesting one to do. What is it? This is, oops, this way's better, a butterfly on metallic foil, on foil paper. Again, it's a blankety blank. There's no, it says hope and inspiration. I love the word hope. I love to hope to the future that everything will be just fine. That nothing's going to be too hard to tolerate in this world. That maybe there is hope. Hope for the human race, hope for nature, hope for everything that's good. Thinking of good things, good-natured things. To hope for a better future, and that's what I love to do. I love to hope for a better future. I've lived in the past. I've lived a life where the future scared the living shit out of me. Uncertainty and fear and all that. And basically, it was a terrible way of existing. Now that looks brilliant. It was a terrible way of existing because I basically lived to a certain degree in the present, a short bit in the future, and the rest of it was lived in the past. The past had become my only way out, that I could be happy. But of course, you can't live in the past. You can't spend your life living in the past because one day you're going to die. And the fear of death was basically what I suffered severely from, wondering where will I go. But I have good news, folks. I believe I'm going to a better place when I die. Now, when I know that, when that is true, or should I say that is what I believe is true, well, basically, it frees me up to just live life to the full, to live life with virtually no bounds. Well, with certain limitations, of course, but not being afraid of the future, taking basically what you'd call calculated risks, not risks that are foolish, but risks that can be used to benefit yourself and also other people, help other people in need who need some encouragement and need some hope themselves. Because a lot of people are really worried about shit now, and it's really a terrible world we seem to live in. But I'd like to offer people an opportunity to believe that their future is bright, even though everything seems to be going horribly wrong in this world. But it's different for everyone, you know. I'm not such and such is not me, and we're not you not I, and whatever. But this looks brilliant. The colours are absolutely exquisite. So now we're just going to print this off. I'm just seeing if the borders are okay. The borders look a bit shitty. I'm wondering if I can turn it upside down. Maybe I can make a better job of this. But I'm actually thinking maybe... See, I'm trying to think how to do this. Maybe I could enlarge it a little bit. I'm just checking the borders to see if... I'm trying to find out... Yeah, so basically it's good to be able to... Yeah, I think that's the positioning. We got it wrong, so we're just going to change it around. But basically, yeah, it's good to be able to hope for the future because, yeah, the future keeps going and going and going. The past is gone and the present will become the past. and the future is all we have. And, you know, we just have to sort of, you know, but I don't want to offer pat answers for things, because I know you know, people tried to offer me this kind of advice, so I wouldn't have taken it. I wouldn't have been able to take it. I was so fearful of my life, not ready to die. I mean, the thing is, I'm not ready to die now, but it's only because I've got a huge bucket list of things that I want to do that I sort of feel I could have got done in my youth if I hadn't have feared death. If I wasn't afraid of death when I was young, I potentially could have achieved heaps of shit, and I would have had more time to achieve it. But now I just have to pick up the pieces, the broken pieces of the past, and then somehow move on and make hay while it's still day, so to speak. But it's very hard to think positively when the whole world is crushing you, or it feels like it's crushing you. The fear of death can be very crushing. It is crushing. It's horrible. And I'm so glad I got out of it. It's been just over 7 years since I conquered it. But I don't know I can't offer advice how to do that personally, but somehow you've got to have hope and somehow believe that something good will happen, and that the past, I mean, this fear of death, I mean, I've been fearful of it in some way for most of my life, but it particularly took a bad turn when I was 16, and it wasn't until I was 38 until I overcame it. So it was more than 20 years of fear, of having this acute fear. It was acute. Sometimes I'd have a break from it, talking to some friends, but it would always come back, and it just got worse and worse until finally amazingly I broke free. But it's going to be different for different people, how one can be free of this. And there are other fears. I mean, other fears went with the fear of death, like fear of going broke. You know, I couldn't help people like homeless people. If people asked me for money, I just refused because I was just protecting myself. I just thought, what if I went broke? Who's going to help me? And what if I end up on the street? So those sorts of other fears accompanied the fear of death as well. Fear of what's happening in this world as well as the next. So yeah, it was scary, very frightening. Frightening how things went. Now, I'm sorry to folks that this image is being spoiled by severe curling of the paper. This is what happens. Unfortunately, sometimes even the message of hope can't stop the problem with curly paper. But you got to have a sense of humour about it somehow. But anyway, I wish everyone the very best, and I wish that people's lives can be colourful like this butterfly. But, you know, I can't tell you, you may not be able to take my advice straight away. You'll have to find your own way. But I wish everyone who watches this video all the best.